Avengers Endgame was a turning point in the MCU. It was the movie where the Avengers used time travel to bring back half the universe's population. And to do that, they had to collect all the Infinity Stones. Now, we all know they pulled it off. But remember when Tony Stark warned, if you mess with time, time tends to mess back? What if I told you that the events of Endgame actually triggered Doomsday in a parallel timeline? I know, your first reaction might be, but TVA already said the Avengers time travel didn't break anything. And yeah, it makes sense. They returned the stones to the exact moments they took them. But there's one person who didn't quite follow the plan, Captain America. He went back to return all the stones and Mjolnir, but instead of coming right back, he chose to live a full life in the past, creating an alternate timeline, and then returned as an old man with a new shield. Now before you say, what are you even talking about? Hear me out. Steve first returns the Soul Stone. He probably gives it back to Red Skull or drops it off the cliff at Vormir. Then he travels to Asgard to return Mjolnir and hands the ether back to Frigga. Since Frigga had already spoken to a future Thor, she might have helped Steve out. Next, he goes to New York to meet the Ancient One. He returns the Time Stone and maybe even asks for a favor, like helping him return the Mind Stone, Scepter, Power Stone, Orb, and Space Stone, Tesseract. She likely agrees. Steve returns all the stones, but instead of heading back to the main timeline, he goes to fulfill a promise, his last dance. And no, he didn't just show up at Peggy's door all desperate. He likely waited. Maybe he picked a moment when his past self was off fighting Red Skull. He stops Red Skull, letting his past self teleport away with the Tesseract. And just like that, a new timeline begins. In this timeline, Steve not only stops Red Skull, but also crushes Hydra early on. But here's the twist, because the Tesseract gets lost in the ocean, things don't play out the same way. Howard Stark never discovers the Tesseract, which means no arc reactor and no Iron Man. Carol Danvers never gets her powers, no Captain Marvel, the world never gets the heroes it once had. Howard Stark still works on weapons. During a trip to Latveria, he and Maria Stark are killed in an attack orchestrated by Obadiah Stane. But Tony Stark didn't die that day. He was reborn, not as Iron Man, but as something much darker, something the world would come to fear. In part 2, you'll meet the man who rose from the ashes, Victor Von Doom.